Last year, a McDonald's honorable mention All-American at a prep school level at Hargrave Military Academy.
You have to give a lot of credit to the defense of Seton Hall. They're showing the 2-3 front. Then they'll mix it up a little bit and show 3-2 out top. Just matching up with the guards out top, and that's been a problem so far for Rutgers.
Allen with the miss. Kent with rebound number 8. Rutgers down 4 in a low-scoring game here at the Lewis Brown Athletic Center. Sherrod got the legs into that one and drains the 3. And just like that, Rutgers pulls within 1.
You know, the crowd is just begging to get into this game, and they're looking for ways to do it. It's been really one of the most quietest crowds that I've seen here all year at home, and maybe that shot might ignite these guys.
Barrett penetrates, found Frey. He juggled it. Barrett with the rebound. That one landed right in Andre's lap. He's got 13.
Barrett reminds me very much of Brandon Knight. Just kind of cool, calm, and collected, and unflappable. I've seen a lot. You know, you talk about Andre Barrett being a sophomore, but all the years of AAU ball that he's played, this young man is an experienced player.
Right side 3 for Shields, and he's still scoreless. And on the rebound inside, it comes to Wiggins. And a foul will be called on the Pirates. I think it's going to be on. If it's Allen, it will be his third. Let's see. Instead, it will be Damian Frey, his second. 4 on the Pirates. Timeout. 11:34 remaining. Rutgers down 3. Seton Hall with a 3-point lead. 11:34 remaining. Mike Sherrod getting the legs into this 3-pointer.
Not known for his 3-point shooting. He really did. He had the little kick in the jump shot that got the ball up, and the crowd went wild, and Andre Barrett did a nice job of getting in the lane and penetrating, and he's really been the silencer of this game.
Now let's take a look at Shooting the Rock. It's brought to you by Rolling Rock. Grab a rock, and both teams dead even from 3-point range.
Those rocks are bricks. That is not a high percentage.
And indeed, in the ball game, not only are those two teams even from 3-point range, they've each taken 44 field goal attempts. And Seton Hall has made 16, Rutgers 15.
Strange. The Twilight Zone numbers.
Well, no wonder it's only a 3-point ball game. Can't get much closer than that. Lamazana back in for Rutgers. Sherrod started to go. Barrett knocked it away, and it winds up in Manga's hands. Turnover number 15 for the Scarlet Knights. Entering the ball game, Rutgers was 7th in the 14-team Big East in turnover ratio. They've had a lot of trouble handling the ball. 5-second call on Seton Hall. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Glenn Consor at the Rutgers Athletic Center in Piscataway, New Jersey. 11:01 remaining in this Big East battle. Elsewhere in the Big East, Boston College beats Villanova by 2 this afternoon at Connie Forum. UConn wraps up the #1 seed in the Big East East. Virginia Tech with its 3rd win of the season, beating Providence. And tonight, there's a big feather in the cap of Mike Bray's Notre Dame Irish in their quest for an NCAA tournament appearance with a 13-point road win at Miami.
He's really got it going. You know, Notre Dame's got some weapons on that team. Chris Thomas, the freshman point guard, has had quite a year. Humphrey's had a big-time year. His numbers indicate exactly how powerful he is. And Gary Waters right now he's in a dilemma because the defense is not getting possessions and they're not getting transition buckets, so he has to rely on executing a half-court offense, and that's where he's fallen into that problem with the zone. All of a sudden, Sherrod is being proactive with the basketball, making shots and getting in the gas.
Sherrod had 11 points Thursday at Pittsburgh. The only time all year he's led his team in scoring. He's got 10 tonight. And there's Kent. He is a master at picking off that entry pass. Just playing just off the far shoulder and just knowing when to step in.
That's a good call, Bob. You know, low post defense is played with your feet, and Rashad Kent has very quick feet. He takes quick, short, choppy steps around the offensive player, and that's how he gets all those interceptions.
And the nightmare continues for Shields, who touched it last. Looks like Rutgers controlled the rebound and got a timeout before they carried the ball over the sideline. So it will be Scarlet Knights ball down 1 with 9:49 remaining. And speaking of Rashad Kent and his contributions, Gary Waters said, when you're a new coach, you need someone who can be a bridge between the players and your staff, and Rashad's made it very easy for me.
Well, you see the quickness not only in the feet but in the hands as well. Great anticipation. And then Kent is able to get inside position. Once again, great nose for the ball. And even though it hasn't been a stellar offensive performance by Kent, he still has 9 rebounds and 3 assists, a bunch of steals, 3 steals. Contributing as he always does. You know, this is one guy that doesn't have to score a lot of points to make major contributions to his club.
Indeed. A lot of steals, not only for a big man, but for, I mean, is there a greater illustration of a wide body in the Big East than this guy?
The thing about him is that he's made himself cut. You know, when he first came into the league, he was a big guy, but he didn't have that frame that he has right now. He also didn't have the strength and the quickness. You know, it's a tough thing to work on and improve on, his foot speed and quickness, and he's done it.
He's named the Big East Co-Player of the Week on Monday.
You know, you always hear coaches, Bob, talk about that you can't teach quicks and you can't teach height. Well, Rashad Kent has really improved in the quicks category.
Lane picks up the foul, his second, and 5 on Seton Hall.
Gary Waters wants these guys to attack gaps.
And Ricky Shields with a chance to finally get on the board after 30.5 minutes, and he does. 0 for 12 from the floor.
The thing that has jumped out at me as Rutgers is executing against the zone is that once someone hits the gaps, the other 4 guys are not moving well. You got to get open. You got to bust to an open spot and make yourself a threat, and you'll get the ball.
Off the missed free throw, Lamazana with the foul, his first 4 on Rutgers. So we'll go back to Seton Hall. We're dead even at 43. Pirates led it by as many as 8, 35-27 earlier this half. Seton Hall beat Rutgers 67-54 when they played January 11th just up the New Jersey Turnpike at the Meadowlands. Lane, right side jumper, no good. Rebound inside, Marcus Toney-El, but he couldn't finish. Here comes Rutgers with a chance to take its first lead since the 14-minute mark in the first half. Shields, this is 2 more. He's 0 for 14. Right side, Toney-El. Crowd wanted to travel. Lane has his shot blocked by Lamazana. Winds up in Kent's hands. He gives to Coleman, who goes up and over Morton. Morton taps the rebound out. Manga and Barrett collided, and that prevented either one of them from getting it. And Barrett came out on the short end, or the worse end of that collision, with his 6'11 teammate Manga. Right side, Coleman. With the ball is Shields. Down low, Kent. Spins. Kick out. Shields again. 0 for 15. Lane with the rebound. And Kent, I believe, is going to be called for the foul.
See, that is not a good foul by Kent. And he has been plagued with these types of fouls throughout his career. And that's his 3rd foul right there. Getting those little puppy dog fouls is unnecessary, and he's the big dog. If you're going to foul, make it count. And what that does is just gives him another foul, and it really was ineffective within the outskirts of the flow of this game. He didn't do anything. You don't want to pick up fouls like that. He did it in the Pittsburgh game.
5 team fouls on Rutgers as we hit the 8-minute mark, tied at 43. Toney-El gets on the board. He's got 2 points. Played his high school ball right on the Seton Hall campus at Seton Hall Prep. Lamazana with the miss. Manga tried to direct the rebound to a teammate. Instead, it comes to Shields of Rutgers. Sherrod drives the one-hander. Manga did it again. Coleman for 3. That's twice Manga just batted the ball and twice he batted it right to a Rutgers player. And Rutgers now with its first lead since 6 minutes into the ball game, 46-45. Lane over Kent. Very poor shot selection by Lane. He's already 18 feet from the hoop. And he leans away and turns into a 21-footer. And a dagger three by Coleman. Louis Orr needs a timeout. 19 points for Coleman. A 9-2 Rutgers run and a 4-point lead.
And this is exactly what Louis Orr was concerned about. Shot selection, taking care of the basketball. After that Lane air ball, Coleman pulls the trigger. You really could see what great range he has, Bob. He can spot up for about 27 feet. It's like a layup for him, no effort. Terrific rhythm in his shot. Seton Hall has to be awfully careful right now to take care of the basketball. And when I mean take care of the basketball, I don't mean just not turn it over. I mean take good shots. For the first 25 minutes of this game, they did a good job of executing a half-court offense. They got to go back to that. Look at Coleman. You think he wants the crowd involved?
He's got 5 3-pointers, part of that 19-point effort. Seton Hall averages more three-point attempts than free throw attempts. And, of course, those two things go hand in hand. You shoot the threes, you're not going to wind up at the line. They average 24 three-point field goal attempts per game and only 18 free throw attempts. 4-point lead. Here's Lane. Left side Barrett. Puts it on the floor. Shoots over Kent. Rebound pulled down by Lamazana. Barrett fell down, so Rutgers has a 5-on-4 advantage here. Left side Coleman for three. Rebound inside. Manga this time instead of... he traveled. Manga's having all kinds of trouble off the defensive backboard. That time he didn't try to direct it to a teammate, but he lost his footing. Timeout, 6:42 left. It's Rutgers by 4. Rutgers trailed by as many as 8, leads by as many as 4, and shot selection on occasion has been a big problem for Darius Lane throughout his career.
Well, it certainly has. Now, on this play, obviously fading away from the basket with about 3 guys open because so much attention was brought to him. Look what this led to. Seton Hall getting back slowly. Toney-El didn't extend out on Coleman, and it led to a 3-point shot. Seton Hall is last in the Big East in field goal percentage shooting, and take a look at that field goal. That's not helping those numbers. 2 for 12, 2 for 8 from 3.
Pirates shoot only 39% from the floor as a team. 2-3 zone for the Pirates, down 4. Right side Coleman gives to Lamazana. Catch and shoot on the turnaround. And the Rutgers lead is 6. And now the crowd is really into it. The 3rd time this year the rack has been sold out. Seats 8,500. Down low Manga spins on Kent and shoots up and over. Kent tried to draw the charge, didn't get it. 8 points for Manga. That was a gamble for Kent because he's got 3 fouls himself.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if that was the wisest move to attempt because as many times as you could draw a charge, you also get called for a blocking foul. He doesn't want to pick up his 4th.
Lamazana with the runner set up by Kent. He drew the double team.
Lamazana is smooth. He kind of reminds me of Darius Rice of Miami with that long body, long wingspan.
I doubt that's the shot that Louis Orr wanted there out of Morton. Awfully quick with the trigger. Morton's only got 6 threes all year, and he threw that one up with a good 22, 23 seconds left in the shot clock.
See, we talked about this, Bob, in the open of the show. One of the ways to take the crowd out is to get into the shot clock a little bit, force things. You don't need quick jacks.
Down low with Kent. This time he'll draw the foul from Manga. That's his 3rd. Let's see if Kent can improve upon that 34.9% free throw shooting percentage.
See, the defense was caught up inside, and Lamazana, as Toney-El went running to him, just blew by him. But again, not paying attention to the scouting report, they're not supposed to double down on Rashad Kent. He only has 7 points. He hasn't been a threat. So why double down? In that case, Toney-El left his man, then he ran out, and he just got taken to the cleaners.
Kent averages a double-double for the season. He's averaging 10.4 points and 10.2 rebounds. He's second in the Big East and 15th in the country in rebounding. Capacity crowd of 8,729 here at the Rack. It's the second sellout of the day at the Rack. The Rutgers women's team hosted top-ranked UConn this afternoon, and the Huskies beat the Scarlet Knights 80-42 to improve their record to 28-0. The Rutgers men's team looking for a very pivotal 18th win of the year and an 8th win in the Big East. They have a 7-point lead with 4:50 to go. And the foul will be called on Joel Wiggin. It will be his third, and that's number 6 on Rutgers this half. We're at the Lewis Brown Athletic Center on the Rutgers campus in Piscataway, New Jersey. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Glenn Consor. Thanks for joining us for Big East basketball on the second to last Saturday night of the regular season. It's Rutgers 54, Seton Hall 47, 4:48 remaining. And a foul will be called on Seton Hall away from the ball. And that's team foul number 7 on the Pirates. So that will result in free throws, or at least the 1-and-1 for Rutgers.
And that gave Manga his third. Manga doing a little head hunting on the screen.
And to the free throw line will go Mike Sherrod, 6'2" sophomore from Paul Robeson High School in Brooklyn, New York. How appropriate that he come here. Rutgers, the alma mater of Paul Robeson. This is the free throw. Seton Hall with a chance to cut into that 7-point Rutgers lead. Look at the physical play in the post between Kent and Manga. Toney-El, Lamazana tried to draw the foul, and Lane throws up another three. Rebound Kent. His 12th. Kent in double figures in rebounds for the 16th time this year.
See, I'm not too sure if it wouldn't be a bad idea to take Lane out for about 3 minutes and let him calm down.
Sherrod. They clear the side, and Barrett shoves his third foul, 8 on the team. And Sherrod will go to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. Are we getting a technical foul here? I heard a whistle. Andre Patillo is over explaining something at the scorer's table. And somebody got whistled for a technical. The technical foul is on Barrett, and that's bad for a whole lot of reasons. Number one, it means Rutgers will shoot the 1-and-1 from the line, the 2 technicals, and get possession. And number 2, Barrett also will be assessed a personal foul, and it's his 4th. Rutgers not capitalizing, however. The Scarlet Knights 5 of 10 from the line in the second half. Seton Hall has yet to go to the line this half.
Somewhat uncharacteristic of Andre Barrett, who has been cool, calm, and collected throughout his career. Just lost it. He didn't think he had the bump on Wiggin, but the officials did, and those are costly. You have to stay unemotional in these games. You have to just stay focused.
So Sherrod will now shoot his 1-and-1. And he makes the front end of it.
That's it. I'll switch. Stay right there.
And Louis Orr is going to call a timeout with 4:08 remaining. And this is the biggest lead of the night for Rutgers at 9. And this thing has turned around in a hurry. Rutgers already with 6 more wins this year than a year ago. Already with 4 more Big East wins than a year ago. And in a conference in the Big East, which includes Pittsburgh and its great coach Ben Howland. Ben Howland certainly being mentioned. In fact, Ben Howland is one of the 20 finalists for the Naismith National Coach of the Year Award. Lost in the shuffle is the coaching of Gary Waters, who in another year might be the Big East Coach of the Year. This is a look at the Big East standings in the West and the all-important RPI ranking. And as you see, Rutgers at number 60, and you can see why the Scarlet Knights need to do some more work to get into the NCAA tournament.
Well, this just goes to show you, if you look at that graphic, how important this game is for Rutgers. I mean, they cannot afford to get bumped here by Seton Hall. And obviously, that RPI ranking is going to diminish if that happens here at home, Bob.
So Sherrod now shoots the second half of the 1-1. He's in double figures for the 9th time this year. And just like that, all of a sudden, it's a 10-point Rutgers lead. Blowing big leads is nothing new for the Pirates this year. There's the steal by Sherrod. Can Toney-El catch it? Oh, he's going to get ejected for that. And unfortunately, he's in this. Oh, what an ugly scene this is. Toney-El, at the very least, is going to be called for an intentional foul. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he's ejected. And this is one of the situations where the officials have the opportunity to go to the video replay to see who is involved. And there were several people involved, including Rashad Kent. Looks like, unfortunately, one of the fans in the stands got the worst of it because Toney-El wound up landing on a woman in the stands. I don't think she's seriously hurt, but she's shaken up. So let's see how they sort this out. The three officials, Andre Patillo, Gene Monge, and Fran Connolly, are coming together. If it's a intentional foul, it will result in 2 free throws for Rutgers plus possession.
Great job by Sherrod, who steps in the passing lane. Though he leads Rutgers in steals, and as he goes up, that is a hard foul. But I'm not too sure if he was just flat out trying to hurt him. I think it might have looked worse than it was.
Yeah. Well, I don't think for a minute he was trying to hurt him, but
it's just unfortunate that.
And I think the better choice for Marcus would have been to just grab him, just wrap your arms around him and grab him.
But I think he was just trying to. I think he was just going after a shooting hand, but it was a hard chop down.
And at that point,
you see John Allen
just defending his teammate, because Toney-El fell down, was really in no position to defend himself. But we could get some ejections here.
You can,
there could be multiple.
Manga got Kent, who jumped in that pile in a bear hug, picked him up and pulled him out in back of the free throw line. Kind of looked like the WWF a little bit. Those are 2 big bodies.
Yeah.
Like the Big Show.
Manga later, when it all ended, went back to the stands to ask the woman if she was okay, and she has been escorted away from the arena to receive some medical attention. So a ugly scene here at the rack with 3:50 remaining. Heated rivalry between these 2 schools, intra-state rivalry. A rivalry which obviously has intensified since Rutgers joined the Big East. This is the 7th season in the Big East for the Scarlet Knights. And since they play in the same division, they play each other home and home each year. And I think they're looking at the replay right now on the far side. Andre Patillo and Gene Monge trying to sort things out by taking advantage of the rule.
Officials taking a look right now, and one of the things they always look at when something like this breaks is who comes off the bench.
Yep.
To assess those types of technical fouls, and who has also been the peacemakers as well. They're looking for those guys too.
With only a couple of instances which the rules allow the officials to go to the replay. There's Gene Monge on the left and Andre Patillo on the right. One of them is to determine whether a shot is released before a half ends. whether it counts or not. Remember the controversy in that Miami-Villanova game a couple of years ago. Another is to determine whether a foot was on the line and whether it's a 2-point attempt or a 3-point attempt. And the third is this exact situation to determine when there is an altercation to see who's involved. So I'm as anxious as all of you are at home to find out how this thing's going to shake out. But Glenn, I think we're going to get some ejections. I'd be surprised if we didn't.
Well, no question about it. There was a bunch of blue shirts and white shirts that jumped on the pile. Toney-El went flying into the stands. And now looks like the officials here are starting to eject some of the fans that were involved with this as well. Some fans were throwing things at some of the players. A couple of the fans were throwing objects, and that's not called for either. You don't want to do that either.
Now they're bringing Gary Waters and Louis Orr over to explain the situation to them. And Andre Patillo is the referee, so he'll do the explaining. Public address announcer making the announcement, asking the crowd to please refrain from throwing things or else Rutgers will get hit with a technical foul. Let's take one more look at it. Toney-El obviously just trying not to give up an easy layup.
See, he went for the shooting arm right here. See how he goes for the shooting arm. Hey, look, let's not kid ourselves. That was a hard foul. A very hard foul, but he was going for the shooting arm, which is the right arm to stop. Obviously, Sherrod came up swinging. I got to believe he might get teed up or possibly ejected here. Watch this. See, that's a hard foul for the shoulder. Actually, it looked harder at that angle than the other angle, Bob. Toney-El gets jumped on by Sherrod, and then Wiggin gets in there. Kent's in there right now.
I'll tell you, he's right in the middle of it is Andre Patillo.
John Allen's in the middle of it as well. There's a bunch of guys in that. And I think this is a tough decision that the officials have to make. And unfortunately for the poor spectator, the woman that got hurt.
It's Fran Connolly restraining Sherrod. And now Andre Patillo, I think, is rendering a verdict to the public address announcer. Probably one of those deals where no matter what it is, Glenn, the home fans probably won't think it's it's what they're looking for.
There was a conversation between the officials and
two coaches don't seem upset at whatever the verdict is because they're not arguing. They're back getting their teams in their huddle.
Well, the officials pulled the coaches together and discussed the ramifications, and right now the officials are at the book. But Sherrod's still in the game.
So's Kent. I mean, Kent's on the floor. If either of them has been ejected, they don't know about it yet. Toney-El is not on the floor, we might add.
Toney-El cannot be on the floor right now, because the fans would be booing him off.
There's a long explanation.
And actually, I think he might be ejected. Yep, they've ejected Marcus Toney-El. See, now he's just got to leave. He's just got to leave the gym right now. There's no need for that last-minute drawing to the officials.
I'm sorry, but the crowd's making so much noise. I can't hear the announcement. Obviously, someone on Rutgers was called for a technical foul because Andre Barrett is shooting free throws right now. Maybe now that the crowd's quieted down, they'll repeat the announcement because I didn't hear a word of it. We know the first part of it. Toney-El's gone.
And we know that Sherrod's going to go to the line. That's for sure.
Right. Is he,
So here are the technical fouls.
Well, Sherrod is at the line now.
First.
I don't know whether he's shooting the free throws following the personal on Toney-El. So Sherrod shooting the free throw. And he misses the second. Now, on top of everything else, it's time for an official timeout. So, see if we can get things sorted out during that. Timeout, 3:50 left. Rutgers by 9. Back at the rack, where Rutgers leads Seton Hall 58-49 with 3:50 remaining. Marcus Toney-El called for an intentional foul and ejected. And a technical foul was called on Rutgers' Jerome Coleman for getting involved going after Toney-El in the stand. So we saw Barrett shoot the free throws. Now, since it was an intentional foul, it's Rutgers' ball.
The strange thing about that, Bob, was that there was only 2 free throws shot as the shooting foul for Sherrod. You would think that there would be at least 1 technical foul shot by Rutgers on the flagrant foul.
Lamazana
Got to get that
will be
called
called for the offensive foul. That's number 3 on him. And that's 18 fouls on Rutgers. So sometimes an incident like that can change the dynamics of a game in one direction or another. Rutgers already with a 9-point lead. Let's see if what happened can spur on Seton Hall. Seton Hall this year 6 times has blown a double-digit lead. They've come back to win 3 of those 6 games. They didn't lead by double digits in this one, but they did lead by 8. Rutgers has overcome 4 double-digit leads this year and has won 3 of those 4 games. Allen spins and shoots over Kent, and it's tipped up by Morton. No good. Rebound Lamazana at the 3-minute mark. And Sherrod lost focus for a second and didn't look that ball into his hands, and results in a backcourt violation. Turnover number 17.
To see how this stoppage of play can change momentum one way or another. Right now, Rutgers not focused.
And Barrett will draw the foul. I think this one will be on Sherrod. If so, it's his 3rd. He picked up 2 early. And that will be 9 team fouls on the Scarlet Knights. So Barrett will shoot the 1-and-1. Barrett 6 of 8 from the line, make it 7 of 9. Now let's take a look at the BMW ultimate drive of the game.
Well, Rutgers did a nice job of working the ball around the perimeter, and Lamazana did a nice job of recognizing the shift in the defense and took it to the hole.
17 points for Barrett. Now, of course, one option here for Rutgers opponents that they've used quite often in this situation is to foul Kent, whether he's involved in the play or not, because he's such a poor free throw shooter. With 2:30 remaining and Seton Hall down 7, let's see if the Pirates resort to that. Meanwhile, they're going to run some clock. Shot clock at 10. Sherrod will try to take Barrett off the dribble. Spins and shoots over. Rebound in the lane to Barrett at 5'8", the shortest man on the floor. His 6th rebound. Dribbles behind the back. Tried to just draw contact on Kent. Instead, Morton with the putback.
Well, you saw how many white shirts were around Barrett when he got in the paint, and that left an open offensive rebound for Morton. Nobody rotating for Rutgers.
Timeout Rutgers with 25 seconds left of the shot clock. And the Scarlet Knights up by 5 with 1:58 remaining.
Boy, Bob, that fight, the stop of play, and the delay in the game sometimes helps the team that is down, and I think it's helped Seton Hall right now. They came back, got some good penetration from Barrett.
Checking into the lineup will be Axani for Rutgers. We invite you to log on to www.bigeast.org and find out the latest about the 2002 ConAgra Big East Basketball Championship. You can find a tournament bracket and schedule, TV listings, championship merchandise, and much more all on the line. It's your one-stop source for the latest on Big East March Madness. And that's a good resource, particularly as the Big East tournament approaches, since so little has been decided in terms of seeding. Game reset. Seton Hall with one full timeout left, so has Rutgers. Next foul on Rutgers will put Seton Hall in the double bonus and result in 2 free throws for the Pirates. Seton Hall already on that 10 foul limit. And the foul will be called on Morton, and indeed going to the line to shoot 2 will be Coleman. It's foul number 3 on Morton. And in this situation where you're up 5 and you're going to get free throw opportunities, there's a big difference psychologically between going to that line and knowing you have to make the first one to get a second opportunity and knowing you get 2 to begin with.
Well, the last 2 times down the floor, 2 possessions for Rutgers, Bob. Very careless with the basketball out top. These guys aren't ready for catches, and Gary Waters' head looked like it was going to explode on the previous play. He had to take a seat.
Coleman now with 21, so he has scored 20 or more points 9 times in his first year at the Division I level. Played at Cecil Community College in Maryland last 2 years. Was a second-team junior college All-American a year ago. And Barrett will be fouled. Aksani and Sherrod were both there. It will be on Aksani, and that's a foul you don't need if you're Rutgers.
Boy, what a luxury it is to have a guy like Barrett that can get in the lane and attract so much attention. Not just to draw fouls, but just to keep the defense honest at the end of the game. And he's the guy that's bringing them back in this game.
Since it is the 10th foul, it means Barrett will shoot a couple. If you're up 6, and Rutgers was before that free throw, one thing you don't want to do is stop the clock. You don't want to give your opponent a chance to catch up without the clock moving. Barrett makes the first, and Morton with the rebound off the missed free throw. Barrett starts to go, and he'll get to the line again. This one will be on Kent. And for Rashad, it will be his 4th. So you name it, from a poor decision-making standpoint, and Rutgers has done it on this Seton Hall possession.
You know, Rutgers is giving Seton Hall every opportunity, every chance in the world to get back in this game. Missing long rebounds, the inability to stop Barrett. Look at Kent come in and play defense with his upper body. You got to play defense with your lower body, your legs, and then he's in disbelief. I'm not. That was a foul.
Barrett, a 77% free throw shooter, missing 2 of 4 on this Seton Hall possession. So the lead is 4. Lamazana will return for the Scarlet Knights, replacing Aksani with 1:37 remaining. Goes to Kent. Wiggin gets it across.
Barrett did a great job denying Sherrod the ball.
Wiggin puts on the brakes in the lane, finds Lamazana. Still 15 left in the shot clock. But the one thing Seton Hall doesn't want to do this late in the shot clock is that. You make a decision. You're either going to foul strategically, and if you do that early in the possession, or you decide to play defense. But you don't wait till the shot clock's down around the 10 mark and then commit a foul. What do you think, Glenn? 40 feet from the basket?
Oh, that's a good call, Bob. That's a dagger. This is the reason why coaches get ulcers, because of that. Play great defense for 30 seconds. Lewis Orr popping some tums right now on the sidelines.
Coleman struggling from the line. 3 of 7 tonight.
This team was getting ready to make a stop and they commit a foul.
Allen gets the screen from Manga. Instead goes to Barrett at the 1-minute mark. Barrett goes baseline. Nobody home. And a steal. And now Seton Hall is going to have to foul with 54 seconds left. And Morton commits the foul. That will be his 4th, and it will send Coleman right back to the foul line. You know, not many people have sort of had the persistence that the man who patrols the Rutgers sideline has, Gary Waters. Here's a man, Glenn, who was an assistant coach for 22 years before he finally got his first head coaching opportunity at Kent State, was there 5 years, first year at Rutgers, and he told me, I always knew that I'd be a head coach. My advice to others, don't ever hesitate to pay your dues. It can only help when the opportunity comes.
I had a chance to talk to a number of coaches in the MAC conference that he came from, and they always say that Gary Waters' teams are great defensive teams, and that is just an indication of the good strong side defense that his teams play. But everyone that talks about Gary Waters talks about what a tough job his teams do on the defensive end.
Lamazana swats that one into the stands, and on the inbound, it's knocked out of bounds by Wiggins. So Seton Hall will inbound again, down 6, 44 seconds left. Seton Hall has 3 3-point threats on the floor. Allen, Lane, and Barrett. Manga gives to the cutter Allen. The one-hander in the lane, and it wouldn't drop. But Barrett sneaks in for the steal, and he's immediately fouled by Sherrod, and that's his fourth. And again, because both teams are over that 10-foul limit, every foul the rest of the way will result in 2 free throws.
But keep your eye on Barrett coming from behind. Stripped Sherrod bare naked on that play. Didn't see him at all.
Barrett 10 of 14 from the line.
But did you notice how he got that deflection, Bob? His palms were up. He deflected up versus down. If you hit down and sometimes get all ball, sometimes it looks like a foul. Not that time.
Timeout called by Seton Hall with 35 seconds left. Barrett will have one more free throw when we return down 5. Let's take a look at our best play of the game. It's brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people. And this is certainly the most notorious play of this game.
Yeah, on the steal. I'm not sure if this was the best play of the game, but it certainly was the play that has really stopped action here and enabled Seton Hall to creep back into this thing a little bit. And obviously this is when all the ruckus and commotion started.
And for those of you who may have joined us since that play, Marcus Toney-El was called for an intentional foul and was ejected from the game. This is what Rutgers has after tonight, a trip to Blacksburg, which Providence, by the way, certainly didn't enjoy today. And then next Saturday at Georgetown. And then the Big East tournament starting March 6th.
And those are some tough games on the road for Rutgers that has struggled on the road all year. Obviously, they're 14-1 here at the rack. And Seton Hall has Pittsburgh
and
coming into New Jersey.
UConn, yep.
And Pittsburgh can win on the road, and going to Connecticut. No easy tasks for both of these teams. Boy, Pittsburgh really has it going. You know, you think about the personnel on that Pittsburgh team. It is not a team that has a lot of size, but they got bulk, and they play with great chemistry, not only on offense, but on defense as well.
This is a team that in the last 8 years finished higher than 8th in the Big East only once. And right now, Pittsburgh and UConn with the best records in conference play.
I love the job that Ben Howland is doing with Pittsburgh. You know, again, it's not the most physically talented team, but as a unit, which is a really great sign of a terrific coach, they're playing great basketball. They really put it together.
Raheem Carter comes in. So he will be the designated fouler. And it will be Sherrod who goes to the line with his club up 4 and 34 seconds remaining. Gary Waters is from the Midwest, born in Detroit, graduated from Ferris State, and was an assistant at his alma mater for 15 years before going on to Eastern Michigan, where he was an assistant for 7 years. It means he coached at Earl Boykins, Eastern Michigan, a team which gave UConn fits in the second round of the NCAA tournament back in '96 before the Huskies prevailed.
Earl Boykins is in the NBA right now. A lot of people thought he was a borderline NBA player because of his size, and once again, proving that size is quite often overrated. He could play.
Rutgers now 16 of 29 from the line. 5-point lead, 34 seconds left. Offense, defense substitutions made by both teams. Barrett comes back in. Lane on the left. Penetrates. Blocking foul on Kent. And that'll be it for Rashad, who will foul out in the last home game of his career and get one last, no doubt, thunderous ovation. And it's building right now. 8 points and 12 rebounds for the 6'6" senior from Fairmont, West Virginia.
And he deserves a glorious ovation from the fans. He's the career leader in field goal percentage in the history of the school, and he has been a monster. And the thing that jumps out at me about Rashad Kent is the fact that he's improved every year, Bob. He's really worked on an aspect of his game every single year to make him just a solid and effective and dominant player in this conference. Second in rebounding.
All-time leader in Rutgers in field goal percentage, second in steals, moved up to fourth in rebounding on the all-time list tonight, eighth in career block shots, 1,000-point scorer, second leading rebounder in the Big East, 15th leading rebounder in the country this year. And he has 11 double-doubles this year. That's the third highest double-double total for any player in the Big East. So, and of course, the one thing he wants more than anything, Glenn, is to get into that NCAA tournament. And if Rutgers can hang on and get them win number 18, here's what Kent has done here on the banks of the Raritan.
You got to realize about Kent is that he's only about 6'5". They list him 6'6", but I think he's more in the 6'5" category, getting all those rebounds. Steals, he's always defending a guy about 5 or 6 inches taller. The Warriors, right?
Of course, with Kent fouling out, that eliminates the option of Seton Hall fouling Kent. One thing Rashad does not do well. Lane with the free throws, and quickly the foul on Raheem Carter with 22 seconds left. This one lasts much longer. It'll be time for Rutgers to get on that plane to head down to Blacksburg, Glenn. Working on 2 hours and 20 minutes here at the rack. So Rutgers trying to extend the home court winning streak to 7.
When you think about this Rutgers team, very similar to Pittsburgh, Bob. They're not a big team. They go with a 3-guard offense, and they're effective with their 3-guard offense because all 3 guys could take you off the bounce. They really didn't play with the energy that they normally do at the rack this game, but I don't want to say they're saving it for the tournament, but they still have some games to go.
5-point Rutgers lead. Timeout, Seton Hall, 22 seconds left. Let's take a look at the Big East Conference standings, brought to you by Conagra Foods, the title sponsor of the Conagra Foods Big East Men's Basketball Championship, March 6th through the 9th at Madison Square Garden. And Notre Dame getting win number 9 with that huge victory tonight down in Miami. And Pittsburgh, certainly, no question, the Panthers are headed for the NCAA tournament. There's really no doubt in my mind, Glenn, 20 wins, 9-4 in the Big East, that Syracuse is going. And a huge step in that direction taken by Notre Dame tonight with the win at Miami.
Taken by Rutgers as well. Avoiding an upset here. Obviously, the East, some similar situations with St. John's and Boston College have to win out to solidify there.
One thing keep in mind, Glenn, is St. John's beat Boston College twice, so it should have come down to that. The Red Storm would get the edge. Last year, Villanova got in over UConn for the same reason, because the Wildcats swept the season series from the Huskies.
I tell you what, the last 10 games, Marcus Hatton has really come on for St. John's.
Well, there's an exception to the rule. Usually takes a junior college player at least 1 year at the Division I level to adjust. Took Marcus Hatton about 10 minutes.
Is that the Bob Picozzi rule?
Yes, it is. Man. It took about 10 minutes for Marcus Hatton to adjust. Barrett dribbles behind his back off his foot. Then Lane drop kicks it to Allen. He misses, and that was one ugly possession for the Pirates. Morton with the foul. So Rutgers is going to get win number 18. And equally important would be win number 8 in the conference. We heard Gary Waters earlier tonight. Piece of an interview he played saying that one of the goals was to get to the Big East tournament. Mission accomplished. Another was to finish 500 in the league. And they're 6 seconds away from assuring themselves of that, as they will up their conference record to 8-6 with 2 games left.
And it was a nice run here at the rack this year, 15-1.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh being the only loss.
I think Morton fouled out, and so he will be replaced by Desmond Herod. So Rutgers is going to make it 4 wins out of its last 5 overall and 7 out of its last 9.
Rutgers has had some great wins. Miami, Syracuse, Notre Dame, UConn.
Georgetown, when Georgetown was ranked 23rd.
That was the 4 teams that were nationally ranked. Gary Waters, what a turnaround year he's had in this program. The place, there's excitement here. The players are playing with great confidence.
Coleman now with 27 points. Barrett quickly in the forecourt will take it right to the rim and draw the foul with 1.3 seconds left.
This has turned into something more of a Jackie Chan movie. A lot of karate chops, a lot of drop kicks.
And the crowd about to erupt because one of the seniors, Connor Cox, is going to get into the game, along with Mike Thompson. Those are the other seniors who were honored before the ball game on senior night, along with Rashad Kent. And here they come. Connor Fox, 6'1" senior out of Freedom, New Jersey. And Mike Thompson, a 6'7" senior from New Zealand. Began his college career at Brigham Young. Did the obligatory Mormon missionary. And now is wound up here in Piscataway, New Jersey. Barrett makes the second, and that'll do it. So Rutgers with its 18th win of the season, beating Seton Hall by a score of 66-60. The Scarlet Knights now 18-9, 8-6 in the Big East. Seton Hall drops to 12-15, 5-9 in the league. Rutgers extends its home court winning streak to 7 and concludes a fabulous home schedule, 15-1, the most wins at home for Rutgers in 20 years.
Well, I thought Rutgers did a good job in the second half, really shutting down John Allen. That was, I think, a big issue in the first half, him scoring inside and out. Barrett really took control in the second half, but it wasn't enough. Gary Waters' team, the staple of this year's team, has been team defense, and I think it was effective in the second half. Not big numbers all across the board, but and it wasn't. This game is not going to win any beauty contest, but it's a big W for Rutgers as they get momentum going into the tournament.
So Rutgers and Notre Dame take a giant step forward in their quest for an NCAA tournament berth. So does Boston College with its win today. And the 4th team on the bubble, St. John's, with a non-league game tomorrow at Duke. That won't hurt the Red Storm if they lose. And if they somehow win, obviously, that would be a huge feather in the cap. We're going to step aside. Rutgers beats Seton Hall 66-60. Back to wrap things up from the rack after this.
Do you wait?
Back at the Lewis Brown Athletic Center, where Rutgers beats Seton Hall by a score of 66-60. Leading the way for the Scarlet Knights, Jerome Coleman with 27 and Andre Barrett with 22. Big win for the Scarlet Knights, Glenn.
Absolutely. from an emotional standpoint, from a momentum standpoint, avoiding the upset, which really could have hurt Seton Hall. Really could have hurt Rutgers going into the tournament, but they've been able to maintain themselves and pull out the victory.
All right, Glenn, thank you very much. So Rutgers wins at 66-60. The Scarlet Knights 18-9, and they'll head for Virginia Tech on Wednesday. For Glenn Consor, I'm Bob Picozzi. Thank you so much for joining us, and goodbye from Piscataway, New Jersey, where Rutgers beat Seton Hall 66-60.
Jesse Armstead could very well
rivalry that became even more heated than usual tonight. To Piscataway, Rutgers hosting Seton Hall, and trust me, this is a sign of things to come. Seton Hall jumped to the early lead. Darius Lane from downtown for 3 of his team-high 22. Hall up 32-26 at halftime, but in the second half, here come the Knights. Jerome Coleman set the all-time Rutgers record for 3-pointers tonight. That bomb puts them back up 49-45, a lead they'd never lose. Then with minutes to go, Mike Sherrod on the break. He gets hacked hard by Toney-El, goes down hard, gets up and retaliates. Punches were thrown. Mayhem ensues and spills into the crowd. Toney-El gets ejected. Meanwhile, Rutgers escapes with their 18th win of the year, 66-60, the final. Woo. Also up north,
and a backyard brawl at the rack as Rutgers and Seton Hall go toe-to-toe. It's all coming up next.
4.
In college hoops, Rutgers hosted Seton Hall in a big rivalry game. In the first half, the Hall looked good. Andre Barrett with the beautiful basket and the foul. The Pirates with a 6-point lead at the break. In the second half, Rutgers storms back. Jerome Coleman buries the 3 to give Rutgers the lead for good. He scored 27. Near the end, tempers flared. Toney-El with the flagrant foul on Mike Sherrod. Toney-El was ejected. The fans got involved as well. The game was stopped for nearly 5 minutes, and numerous spectators were shown the exit. An ugly end to a 66-60 Rutgers victory. The Scarlet Knights improved to 18-9. Fordham lost on roll. Seton Hall and Rutgers. Second half, Mike Sherrod coming up with a steal. Toney-El, a nasty, wicked foul, borderline Bush League. I'm not so sure he wasn't just trying to strip the ball, but we can't have that. And then we have a Donnybrook that ensues. Somebody said something about somebody's mama, and people got upset. Sherrod had to be restrained. You can't really blame him for being mad.
No, he got really hooked right around the neck, and I'd be upset too. So you can't leave the bench. Tough play. Don't need that in the Big East. Rutgers takes care of business. The final 66-60 in that one. Down in the SEC, Rutgers, you see them finishing it off. They've been great at the rack this year. Waters is really taking care of business. In the SEC,
Rivalry turns ugly. Next on the Jersey Sports Final.
You know, he's just got to leave. He's just got to leave the gym right now. There's no need for that last-minute jawing to the officials.
Yeah, really a shame that incident last night overshadowed the fact that, first off, Rutgers and Seton Hall played a heck of a game, and secondly, the win keeps RU in NCAA tournament consideration. Knights getting to 18 wins now on the season. They're still on the bubble for the big dance, but they can thank Jerome Coleman. He set a new school record for 3-pointers made in a season last night, and he hit 2 big ones midway through the second half. Rutgers wiped out a Seton Hall lead and took one of their own. They went on to win it 66-60. But here's what everybody was talking about. Toney-El just flattening Mike Sherrod in the closing minutes of this game. A hard foul, and it resulted in a pile of players winding up in the stands. Sherrod trying to get at Toney-El. No punches were thrown, but it did cast a pall over what has been a very civil rivalry over the years. Technicals were handed out. Toney-El got thrown out. He wasn't talking after the game, but Mike Sherrod was.
I knew he was going to try to make a play on the ball, but I didn't think he was going to grab me to the point where I lose my balance and anything like that. I just knew we was out there playing hard, and of course he was going to make an aggressive play on the ball, but I didn't think he wasn't going to go for the ball at all.
You know, he gets ejected from the game, and he's not able to help his team win. So, you know, maybe he'll mature over these next few games and realize how he hurt his team.
A lot of that crazy stuff out there, you kind of like that, huh? That breeds a rivalry, but it really, you know, that was unnecessary.
It's an unfortunate thing, but it was far from me, so I really didn't see it. But in the heat of battle, those things happen. It's unfortunate, but I'm glad nobody got hurt.
It was a bad reaction, you know, but at the time, we felt it was a dirty play.
As for the bigger picture, Rutgers NCAA tournament hopes, where do they now stand? News 12 New Jersey's